everyone. I'm Rebecca King, and I'm here with my colleague and friend Heather Clayton this afternoon. And yes, this is not Prophets Hub. I am so sorry, but we don't have an intro video for this Kenya mission that we're going to be talking about today. But we figured you'd forgive us. And if you heard the sound of the horses, you would jump on and jump in and join us. I am so glad to be able to tell you that once again, as Invictus, we are heading to Kenya on mission for the month of May. And that means we'll be taking a team to Kenya for the purpose of teaching and training and raising up, mentoring, all of the things we do here in the West, but somewhere else. And we're doing that because the Spirit of the Lord has been talking about two things to us in Invictus, and he's highlighted both of them. And one of them is this area of mission. And so we'd always intended when Invictus was born to have an arm that was to do with mission. And so we wrote it into our description kind of thing when we were applying for charity status. We didn't know how and when God would bring it about. But as you know, last year, some of us went out to Kenya and on a sort of a reconnaissance mission, on a starting up thing to get to know people, to establish relationships, to establish friendships with people there, because we don't want to go to Kenya and, impose ourselves on people. We want to pour into nationals so that they can take responsibility, for the land that God has given them. And Kenya is a beautiful land. It's a beautiful land with a beautiful people. And so we're going to talk to you a little bit about that mission trip and what's on our hearts. We're going to talk a little bit about how it was when we went last time. And in between, we're going to ask you for money. Now, this is the first time I have ever done something like that. And it's almost embarrassing for me to do it. But the Lord's been dealing with me. When I have an area of lack, I need to ask. If there's something that I need him to provide, then I need to ask. And sometimes that involves asking you as well. So don't quickly hang up and say, oh, I'm not watching. Please listen to what we have to say with your heart and be open to God. He may just say to you, I want you to sow into that mission. Now, this isn't so that we can go off and have a holiday somewhere. This is so that we can go there and give what God has given us to give very freely. We don't want to be a burden on anyone. We want to give. We're well connected with some ministries there, and we're going to talk about those things, but listen with your heart and see if God wouldn't have you help us. We'll tell you how to do that a little later on. Heather, why don't you start off? This last time when we went to Kenya, that was your first time, I think, in the whole of Africa, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've touched the part of the north of Africa before, but definitely in mainland Africa, as it were, it was, an experience like no other. And God really had to prepare my heart for it, because it was something that I'd never envisaged really happening. And, before we went, people were very pained to warn me about the toilet situation and lots of other things like that. And I went with a fair few, oh my goodness, what if this happens? Including things like mosquitoes and so on, because they just love me. And wherever I go, I get bitten to shreds normally. However, this trip was so different, and I know it was so God ordained. With very quickly, within probably a day or two of being there, I actually had a feeling and a sense of feeling very at home, which was quite incredible, because it was so far removed from what I'd been used to. I knew that it was the Lord, and I knew that it was the Lord that had prepared my heart, but also that he'd just begun to show me the people there and how we are kingdom together and how we have so much to offer each other. And, we know that we went to give as the Lord showed us and told us to, but actually we received far more than we gave as well in many ways to bring back. So it was just full of amazing experiences. and some very funny, some not so funny. But for me, as a newbie to Africa, it really helped me get out of my Western mindset about a lot of kingdom issues, which I needed to, but I didn't know I needed to at the time.
Yeah, it's funny how God takes you outside of your comfort zone and then he stretches you and then he puts his finger on something and says, you thought you were coming here to get dispense of your great wisdom, but
Yeah.
actually you're here because I have things that you need to learn.
Yeah.
And we did learn an awful lot of things. And I really enjoyed watching you, Heather, just relax into the culture and feel at home in things and just enjoy the lifestyle, different things like that. For me, of course, it comes naturally because that's a home for me. It's where I was raised up. And I was also raised up in mission. So mission comes naturally to me. And when I accepted Jesus and I was 2 years old, I was in a corner in a room and I came out and announced to the other missionaries. Out and announced to the missionaries there that I had accepted Jesus into my heart and that I wanted to be a missionary. And what does 2-year-old know about being a missionary? I had no idea. And even now, mission is so different than what it used to be when I grew up, even though I grew up within that context of service. And, I know that all of us are called to go into all the world, to preach the gospel, to make disciples. But it's different when you're carrying a prophet call, so God has had to focus us on the things that we carry, the things that he's taught us, the things that we can bring into other nations that will help people to grow. There's Edwin online. Hello, Edwin. How are you doing? Good to see a friendly face. Come on, we're excited to see you. So thank you for tuning in. Anyway, we are connected with someone there called Apostle Teresa Omoto, and she is with Christ the Hope of Glory Ministries, and we're also very connected with other people there, but our main contact as far as a pastor goes is Pastor Titus Kamala, and so they work very closely together. And last time when we went, we worked in Nairobi. We will do the same thing here. We will be working in Nairobi, doing seminars. But we will this time also be going to the West Country, to the villages in Busia County. And so that's going to be, again, a stretch and something very different, Heather, that, we're going to learn, aren't we?
We sure are. Yes. I'm looking, again, for me, it's a next step because having just got Nairobi under my belt, and let me tell you about the traffic and the road situation in Nairobi. I mean, if you ever needed angelic protection, it's on the roads in Nairobi, not for anything sinister other than people's driving. I live in Wales, a very rural location, and we just have to look out for tractors and sheep. So getting, very so close to other cars, and it was just a real experience. But we were so glad, as Rebecca said, just to make such good friends and to have just, real companionable time with people and getting to know them and having relationship with them and growing together in things as well. It was absolutely amazing. So yes, I feel like I'm ready for the next step of being let loose out of the city. Now, in some ways.
Well, we'll go first to the city, and adjust, because we're bringing some other people along with us this time who also have not been to Kenya and to Africa, actually. And so we're going to need a little time of adjustment, but our days in Nairobi will be full. I've put the Stripe link up there for any of you who want to sow into this and to donate to this mission. That would be so helpful, and we thank you in advance for that. But speaking of driving in Nairobi, actually Nairobi's where I learned to drive. I don't know if I should tell this to the world, but my daddy taught me when I was 13 years old. And he taught me on my mother's car, which was one of those little Volkswagen Beetles. and yeah, in Ilimani area of Nairobi. So anyway, when I was 13 years old, I learned to drive in Nairobi, but I would not drive in Nairobi today. There's no way. Even though all the buses there have, Jesus Christ is Lord on them and things like that. It's like, no, I'm not driving, no matter the declarations on the bus. But that's where our friendships with the people that we know there came in. And they were so good to us, weren't they? They would come,
Amazing.
elect us. They took us to see things that they thought we would enjoy.
Yes.
They took us to Mandazi places where we could eat till our hearts sung with happiness, and we just wanted to go back again and again. It was really good. But let's talk just quickly about some of the things we're going to be teaching. What are you carrying that we're going to be doing in our intensives there?
Okay, well, as Rebecca has just said, part of what we're going to be doing there is little intensive sessions with groups of people in different places. And previous to us going, we've been doing kind of building basic foundations online. So we've done basic prophecy courses with some people online, and basic dream interpretation courses with some people online. And we're going to be really building on that. But part of the reason that God has us there is to, identify not only help the prophetic grow there, help people grow in the prophetic, and churches be able to, work together with the prophetic and listen to God themselves, hear God speak themselves rather than running after other people, but also to identify prophets.
Yes.
And to nurture and to mentor, because again, as Rebecca said, we all need to be able to equip one another to stand. Kenya is not our nation. Kenya is the nation of the Kenyans. And so we need to help and bring everything that we can bring in order for them to be able to stand and hold the nation and, just direct it in the way that the Lord wants it to go, rather than having to seek other people from outside. And it's always good to have other people speak into things. We know that from our own nations. And when we go, we pick up on things in the atmosphere that perhaps people there wouldn't pick up on, because it's not our general atmosphere. We're not under it. So, that's always good. And the same when people come here, obviously. So we bring, a freshness, a different discernment. We bring an ability to walk prophetically. Part of what we're carrying as well is the desire for prophets and the prophetic to work well within the fivefold ministries.
Yeah.
So that is an area that we'll be really plugging into, I think, while we're there.
Yeah, it's really important for you to know as well, those of you who are going to bless Invictus financially for this. It's important that we are not going to the big wealthy churches. God has spoken very clearly to us about who we are to go to, and we are to go where there is a need. We're not to go where there isn't a need. And this isn't about a big platform. This isn't about walking with those big famous prophets that are so well known in all of Africa, actually, and in the United States and Canada, if to be honest, where they actually are in it for a business for themselves. We are going to places that need to become established in these things. We are going to places where we can eventually help build up and support the church. In Busia County, Apostle Teresa, I think she has planted 12 churches, I think, at least 12 churches. And we're going to be going to some of those. I don't know, maybe all of them. It depends on what they arrange for us. But there are 12 churches under that covering of Christ, the Hope of Glory Ministries, that we know God has called us to pour into. And I know that we'll be doing a lot of teaching about leadership as well. And again, working well with the fivefold. And we bring this incredible different kind of atmosphere with us as a prophetic team. So we're bringing some other people with us who've been with us for a long time. We're bringing some newbies, but all of us carry something different. And we will be bringing that to the table and saying, look, it's about everyone learning to find their place. It's about everyone participating. It's not about the man of God or the woman of God, and everyone bowing down and almost worshiping at the throne of such people. The only throne that we worship at is the throne of Jesus as the kings of, that's where we're going with that, pointing people to Jesus with the prophetic. But we want to use our gifts and use the wisdom and the insight that the Lord has poured into us over the years to help establish some of these smaller churches so that they are not lacking in anything. And they also teach us so many things. I think back at the level of humility of the people we met there. It was unbelievable. I was undone over and over and over and over again. Hello, Pastor Titus. Somebody must have phoned you and told you. Good to see you. We're talking about you. But we're just excited. The people we hope are coming along with us are Sandy Plett. She is coming. Her ticket has been bought now too. And we're hoping to be able to bring Stephen Cummings. And I keep saying that Sir Matthew Clayton is going to be on that plane as well. But anyway, we are looking forward to coming and building together with you. And if we have something that we can pour into you and shed light upon, then we're going to do that. But we're also going to listen. I love mission. It's really exciting how God is opening this up to us as a prophetic company.
Yes. And I love the way the Lord, like you said, showed us the small doors that he said, would you be willing to go through the small doors? And, immediately it was, yes, Lord, take us, we'll go, take us through any small doors. And just the relationships that even we've started to build, global relationships, kingdom relationships have been amazing. And like Rebecca said, we've learned so much from the humility of our brothers and sisters in Kenya, and, partnering with people who, struggle day to day in different ways than people struggle here. But actually the whole, one of the wholeness of ministry and mission like this is that, we bring hope. Hope is there, and some kind of sustainability is there as well, and growth in the way the Lord wants it. So there's just so much that's offered. And I know that as we bring what the Lord says, actually it brings a spiritual health and wholeness as well, which again, we receive and we take back. But I know that is what released as well through the words that the Lord gives and through what he does. But I think we need to mention, and we've mentioned this so many times, but we need to mention our absolute amazement at when we were there last time, at how God speaks so clearly in dreams.
Yes, come on.
It was absolutely phenomenal. We can think here that, we get lots of dreams and things, but actually these dreams were, they were daily for a start, and they were incredibly detailed and specific about, the next day, on the next day, on the next day. It was just incredible. And God really does speak so much. So that is something that we're going to be really tuning into and building upon. Like I said, we've done basics, but we're actually going to be building upon that so that we have just such a greater understanding and ability to commune with God through what he's saying and to take it further, because dreams aren't always just for us personally, they're for regions, for nations, and so on.
Yeah. That dream business changed me forever. And it was, I can remember that we would come to breakfast and sit with Anne-Marie and with Matthew when he was there. And, well, what did you dream last night? And what did you dream last night? There was no, did you dream? It was, what did you dream? And and now even I go to bed at night and I'll often say to the Lord, okay, I need an answer for this, this, and this, and I expect a dream. I told you I was learning to ask specifically for what I need, you know. And so with the dreaming thing, that actually really affected my life. It's not an area that, I mean, I've always been a dreamer, but I'm not hardcore wired, you know, to dream, but it's increasing in my life. It's increasing. And so it's been really exciting to be in a nation for an extended period of time, that's how God speaks so clearly so many times. And I think some of you may be asking, well, why are you going for so long? Because we're builders. We're apostolic in nature. I'm very apostolic, and I want to build something. I want to leave something. I'm concerned with legacy. This is important for us, to lay down our life in a certain way and to go and to live in a way before people and with other people outside of our culture, so that we can impact something and they can also have the same effect on us. But we want to go and to do something, not sort of flying in and then flying out. You know, we don't want to make a big bang or be like a star like that. We want to build a constellation. You know, we want to pour into the nation. We want to pour into the people and to build them up so that they can carry what God has for them to carry in a new way, in a fresh way. And that excites me a lot.
Yes, amen. And you know, on the flip side of that, the things that we brought back last time with us, you know, even sometimes it was a teaching from the Lord himself, you know, showing us things that actually he had to take us out of our Western nations to see and to understand. So there were times that he showed us things that, and we didn't realize this at the time, but actually when we got back, intercessors gave us words that the Lord had to take us to these places, you know, to Kenya actually, for us to see the level of integrity that we wouldn't have recognized in our nation. And that was a shock, to be perfectly honest. But it's something that, you know, we brought back, and since then we've been really delving and probing into that deeper level of integrity. So it's, you know, God uses us to go and take things, but what we bring back here is incredible. You know, we are all blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to overflow to one another, aren't we? And this is what we do. We build kingdom together. We overflow. God teaches us different things in different places and uses different people. So, you know, it's a give and take.
And you know what? I see someone from Kisi just coming on and asking some questions or saying some things about being on team. You know what? If you get in touch with us in regards to any of our trips, we're going to put you in touch with the people on the ground. We're not going to be involved in that kind of thing. We are going to send you to Apostle Teresa Amoto, or we're going to send you to Pastor Titus. And those are the ones you talk to, because we're there to serve them. We're not there to establish an outpost for our ministry. We're there to serve the local church and to help build them up. And so that's why we're asking you to help us. It's so that we can fulfill this call of God on our life that actually we can't do without you. So we have people who are interceding, we have people who are going, and we need people who will give. Because in that way, together, we will fulfill the Great Commission, and God will be glorified. He will be honored in many, many ways.
Yeah, I think we just need to mention as well, you know, we were praying this afternoon, and we are in a time, you know, where we're really doing preparation for what is coming. And, you know, we do it here for our nations, but we actually need to be able to help Kenya to prophetically prepare for what is coming there as well. You know, what we do as prophets helps to inform the nations to see what's coming and so on. So I think there's just such an importance at the moment. Well, there is every time, but at the moment there's just such an importance for, and I'm saying this because Invictus, what our symbol is the white horse from Revelation 19:11, and you know, the rider who is faithful and true. But actually, this is a time where war horses are needed on the land, whatever land, and we know that is part of what we carry. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Tanya Knoll on here, and
Yeah.
she works well in Africa as well, and she works in the Busia area too, but she goes to Uganda around the Jinja area usually. And so hello, Tanya. We're talking about Africa, which is a great love, and we walk together, Tanya and her ministry. And so if you want to put the name of your ministry in the comments, Tanya, that would be really great. We're sort of short on green room help here today. So you've got to be your own green room. But God is raising up prophetic movements who are concerned with the nations. And I'm excited because I know that right now we're working in Kenya, but we're not going to stop at Kenya. We're not going to stop at Kenya. The Lord is opening up doors for us, little doors in different places of the world. I'm excited about Uganda. I'm excited about the Sudan. I'm excited about Tanzania. I'm excited about the whole of Africa. And no matter who he sends, he's going to build and rebuild things there. And he's going to do it in his way, but he's going to use us all together. And not just Africa. We're excited to be coming to Europe. We're excited to go to the Far East. Like we're on the move. And it's because of this heart of mission. It's not this heart of our ministry. It's a heart, it's a mission of his heart. Excuse me, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm excited. His heart taken in mission to the rest of the world. And that's why we're asking for help from you.
Yes. It's servanthood.
It is.
Servant hearts. And that's really why, well, God speaks to us so much about being servants, doesn't he? I mean, Jesus came to serve, and this is part of that call, but also the recognizing of serving beyond borders.
Yeah.
It's not just about stewarding the little bit where we are. It's about serving beyond borders.
Yeah. And it's time. It's high time. I've been talking to people lately who have been telling me about them being discontent. They're discontent inside, and some of them have valid reasons for that. But there is a great discontentment, I believe, growing because God has birthed it in some of you.
Yes.
And he is birthing that discontent because he's trying to dislodge you from the cement that is around your feet, the cement that's around your existence. And he's saying, this is not all there is. I want to send you. I want to send you. Think of the prophet Isaiah. He got cleaned up. He got himself fixed up. And then he said, here I am, send me. He asked to be sent. And I would encourage you as prophets, ask to be sent. And don't say, don't send me to this nation or don't send me to that nation. Just ask to be sent and be willing to go where other people won't go. The Lord asked us that last year, didn't he? In a very clear way. Are you willing to go where other people aren't going? Are you willing to be unpopular? Are you willing? Because if you will go through the small doors, I will open up the nations of the world to you. And we heard that from the Lord. And so are other prophets, and we're stepping into it. So in a way, we're pioneering a different kind of mission in this thing. And so, I think we're at 30 minutes, Heather. So I think that's probably about all for today. But is there something else you would like to add?
Yeah, just want to be clear, really, and just to say that, we're coming on and obviously we're asking for your help.
Yeah.
It's not because we want to and not because, it actually feels incredibly uncomfortable to do this because, it does. But it's just the sense of, we're not pitting against any other ministry or anything like that. We're just saying, can we be kingdom together? Can we support each other? This is what we believe that God has said to do. And we've said yes, and we're going. And it's just we want to walk alongside everybody. We want to walk alongside, all people of God who have hearts to serve. And so, that's, I just want you to hear our hearts in it, really. Just to know that we're not coming on here because it's like, oh, let's raise this money and let's do this. Absolutely not. It's, Lord, you've asked us to go through these doors. Lord, we're now doing what we can to enable that to happen and to see your kingdom come and your will be done through what you've given us to carry into Kenya at this moment in time. So we just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to you all, whether it's prayer, whether it's finance, whatever it is. We just want to say thank you. And please just hear our hearts that are to serve.
Yeah. And it's going to be exciting to see how God develops this arm of Invictus. It's going to be, well, for me personally, very exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Just see how God builds it and to see where he takes people. And there are going to be teams one day going to all different places in the world and going for extended periods in order to build something, not just to go in and be a flash in the pan, but we're here to build. And that's what's exciting for us. That's so hard, as Carol says. So God bless you and thank you very much. Thank you for listening. And I hope you'll share this and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yes.